Happy New Year, everyone. It's Jen Fishburne, and today we are going to talk about out with the old, in with the new, and this has nothing to do with New Year's. But New Year's is a good time for us to think about out with the old and in with the new. But today I want to talk about another area that we should be focusing on more so than just our personal goals for the next year. So, what we're going to talk about is the ages. And so we've got a new age that's coming in, the age of Aquarius. The old age is going out, the age of Pisces. We have probably, I think, officially transitioned. I've actually heard from several people who did not watch my video, who said that they've experienced a shift in energy in the earth in the last week or so. And I think that if you're paying attention to the energy around you and to the vibrations, that you're going to feel that as well. So let's talk a little bit about that and how we need to be not only aware of it, but what that means for us. So I talked a little bit about the Age of Aquarius 2 videos ago, if you want to know a little bit more about that if you haven't seen it. But that's what we're going to talk about today. So I want to talk about this a little bit from a biblical perspective as well, because most of my followers are Christians or used to be Christians. So that's the perspective that we're going to be coming from. Alrighty? So the ages are astrological ages. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about that today, but it just means that the sun, moon, and the stars do rule the earth. We have a lot of impact over what happens in our lives, whether we realize it or not. So I think, for me, I like to realize what is going on and not just to kind of blindly go through life. So I'm only going to back up very, very shortly to the age of Taurus, which was the age where Moses came in the Bible. And this was interesting because the age before that, I think, was the age of Aries. I'm sorry, the age, I can't even remember now. Sorry, I don't know the names of the ages before that, but the age before that was the one that had to do with the bull. And so they were worshiping the bull, the cow, before that. And I don't know why I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, remember when Aaron built that golden calf and Moses came down the mountain and he was furious. So we kind of look at that story now and we're like, oh, those people were so stupid worshiping a golden calf. You know, they took all of their jewelry and all of their important stuff and they made this stupid calf to worship. And we kind of think it's crazy, but we don't realize that we're actually doing the same thing. So what was happening there, though, was that Moses was saying, hey, that age has ended. A new age is coming in, the age of Taurus. And that was the age of the ram or the lamb. So the calf was out, the ram was in. All right, so we're not going to go into a whole lot about that. And then yeah, I think that was the age of Taurus is what it was. So now it was the age of Aries. The age of Aries was kind of roughly equivalent to the Old Covenant. Actually, it's probably exactly the Old Covenant age. And so these stories in the Bible, which are just that, they're just stories, they are equivalent to these stories in the skies as well. And we're not going to go a whole lot into the story, but just a little bit about how the ages worked. So the age of the Old Covenant was an age of war and violence and conquest. So we can see that all throughout the Old Testament. There are wars and wars and wars, and even verses that said, I, the Lord, am a man of war. And so the Israelites were commanded to go in and go to war with all of these people, all of their neighbors, and defeat them, right? And they make them their conquest. So that was a huge part of the age of Aries. So this is the age when heroes were warriors. And so all of our mythological heroes during this age were all great warriors. And Moses was one of them. All right, so then we go into the age of Pisces. Now, I used to think that the age of Pisces was, or the New Covenant age, that this was when Jesus came to destroy religion and And so many Christians will say, in fact, most Christians will say, well, Christianity is not a religion. The religion is what everybody else does, and Christianity is just the true relationship with God. Well, I think now we have enough information to know that Christianity is just as much a religion as everyone else has a religion. It's just that it was the religion that replaced the Old Covenant religion. So this was a New Covenant religion that replaced it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and the differences between those two ages. So the age of Aries and the age of Pisces. So in the age of Aries, the Old Covenant, we had a god. There were actually many gods in the Bible. Most of them are covered up in our English versions. But in the Old Testament, I know a lot of people will say Yahweh. I don't know where that actually came from, because in my Hebrew classes that I studied, the correct pronunciation for that would be Jehovah. And so that's really close to our English Jehovah. So I much prefer that, just because I'm kind of anal about that kind of stuff. So I don't know where people started saying Yahweh. Nobody ever would have said that combination of sounds in Hebrew. So I gotta go by Jehovah. So we have the god Jehovah in the Old Covenant. And then in the New Covenant, which was the age of Pisces, we have a different set of gods, really. Now we have a Trinity. And so the Trinity is the Father, the Son, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. All right, so we've got this new set of gods. Some people think that Jehovah is the Father. Some people think that Jehovah is not the Father. Some people think Jesus is God. Some people think Jesus is not God. It doesn't matter, because it's all a big story. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. All right, but let's compare these two and to see how they were different, how the ages were different, and how the gods were different. Okay, so in the age of Aries, the Old Covenant, Jehovah told Israel to kill all their neighbors, to murder people. And in the age of Pisces, Jesus told them to love their neighbors, to love their enemies, and instead of murder, to not be angry. And if they were even angry in their heart, that was the same as murder. So we can see lots of differences already. In the Old in the Old Covenant, the age of Aries, the Lord said, I'm a man of war. Whereas in the age of Pisces, in the New Covenant, Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers. So we have some huge differences right off the bat, right? So we know there were a lot of differences in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5 through 7, where Jesus said, you have heard this, but I say this. And what Jesus was doing there in this story, because Jesus didn't really exist, but what Jesus was doing there was he was transitioning from one age to another. So he's transitioning from the Old Covenant age of Aries into the New Covenant age of Pisces. So he was telling them, okay, we used to do these things, now we're going to do these things. We used to say, don't have adultery. Now I'm going to say, don't even lust in your heart. We used to say divorce was okay. Now I'm going to say it's not okay unless you have these certain specific instances, and even remarriage is not okay unless you have these certain specific things. We used to say an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Now I say just turn the other cheek and be a pacifist. So that was quite a huge change, wasn't it? Let's see, it used to be that people would pray out loud and fast out loud and make sure that everybody knew what was going on with their spiritual lives. And then, and Jesus said, well, those people that did that, they had their reward here on earth, because everybody's going to praise them here. But if you do all these things in secret, then you'll have your reward in heaven, because then my Father will praise you in front of everybody. And that was kind of crazy, because that doesn't actually happen. And in the Old Covenant of Aries, there was a ton of judgment. It was just constant judgment all the way through. And all of a sudden, then Jesus comes in and he says, hey, in the age of Pisces, judge not, lest you be judged. So we're not going to have any judgment anymore, which is kind of hypocritical, because the end of that was actually a huge form of judgment when everything happened in AD 70 and the temple was destroyed, the whole worship system and everything. That was judgment against Israel. So that was a little bit hypocritical. Okay, a lot. So the time of the Old Covenant of Aries was a time of murder and slavery and rape and stealing women from the people that you conquered and stuff. That was very, very, very common. All of those things were constantly happening in the old covenant of Aries. In the new covenant of Pisces, then we have the golden rule: do unto others as you would have done, as you would want have done to you unto you. So we can see that Jesus brought in a very, very different age, the age of Pisces, than what Moses had. And so a lot of people try to reconcile these in the Bible and think that they're all one story, when actually we're talking about two different ages. That's really what's going on here. So there's just two different ages. And so Jesus was the one who kind of brought in the age of Pisces. With Pisces, is the symbol is two fish. And so the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish it's just a symbol for saying, hey, the age of Pisces is coming in. Now, some people think that the age of Pisces actually started with Buddha about 300 years earlier, but it doesn't really matter, because Buddha and Jesus taught basically the same kind of principles about how to treat other people. And it was that kind of religion that was being brought in the age of Pisces. So the age of Pisces is the age of religion. The age of Aries, with Moses forward to Jesus, right? From Moses to Jesus, that age was the age of war and violence and conquest, right? And then we've got a new age that comes in, and now this new age is actually the age of religion, the new age of Pisces, which started with Jesus or Buddha or whoever you want to say, but it was the age of religion. So that religion brought in Christianity, Islam, Judaism became more prominent as a religion. Buddhism, Hinduism, all of those kind of things. And those have been prominent for the last 2,000 years. Just real quick, let's see, the age of Pisces also taught some principles of surrender. We went from war to surrender, right? Compassion, kindness, charity, empathy, sacrifice. And it was the ideal was to be a saint, to be good, to be righteous, to be holy. That was kind of the goal for the last 2,000 years. And most of you who are listening to this can relate to that, because that is what you have been taught in church all your life growing up. I can promise. All right, it doesn't matter what church you went to, that is what has been taught. And we've been made to feel bad if we don't measure up to whatever standards someone else has set before us. There's a lot of shame and blame and condemnation and judgment that comes along with the age of Pisces, that comes along with the age of religion. And those things have caused a lot of grief to many, many people. They think that they cannot measure up, that they don't measure up. Many people have taken their lives over it. It has changed many people's perspective on life. It was not a good thing. So the age of Pisces also was an age of fear. If you don't do this, this is going to happen. If you don't believe in Jesus just exactly the right way, according to your church, you're going to hell. If you don't do this, God's going to judge you. If you don't do this, God's going to smite you. If you don't do this, bad things are going to happen to you. It was very, very much an age of fear, an age of religion that brought fear. It was also an age of hypocrisy. So I think most of you can tell stories of church stories in your life that show hypocrisy. Most of us know hypocrites in our life. I know that was something very early on as a very young child. It was something that I detested very, very, very much. And I have to wonder if that strong hatred for hypocrisy is what brought me in such a deep search for the truth, where I have almost devoted my whole life to just searching for truth, because I hated hypocrisy so much, because I grew up with a huge amount of hypocrisy. It was also the age of Pisces was also an age of greed. And I think that we can kind of see that in our materialism that we have right now. And we're still living in that, right? So the hypocrisy that we have in the age of Pisces, war and peace, that's the first thing that came to my mind. We are an age that, even though war was from the previous age, we brought that with us into this age, and we've still had, in the last 2,000 years, we've had almost constant war all throughout the last 2,000 years. And yet we claim peace, 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 right? What peace have we lived in? What have we really lived in? We will have war with our friends on social media, and we claim peace. That's just the ultimate hypocrisy that I see as well. We claim to love one another, and yet at the same time we actually tear one another down with our words, with our actions, with the different things that happen. Even just looking in this last year with all of the riots that we have, how is that? We claim that we love people of certain skin colors, and we do. And yet at the same time, we're going to destroy all of the businesses, and it doesn't matter who owns those businesses, that they have nothing to do with someone's skin color. They have nothing to do with someone being hurt because of someone else. So there's just a huge amount of hypocrisy going on here. Jesus said you cannot love both God and money, or you cannot serve both God and money, and yet that is the ultimate hypocrisy that we see going on. In the last 2,000 years, that's been a major, major, major thing that has, people will say that they don't serve God and money, but they do. People try to, and we can see what has happened from all of that. Okay, the Age of Pisces was a time of the Promised Land. Entering into the Age of Pisces, I should have backed up on this one, but anyway, when people left from the Old Covenant Age to the New Covenant Age, from the Age of Aries to the Age of Pisces, the Promised Land was actually the Age of Pisces. So when we see that in the Bible, when they were entering into the Age of Pisces, they were entering into the Promised Land. So it really has nothing to do with heaven or us or anything like that. We're just on the tail end of the Age of Pisces. The Age of Pisces was also a time where it was very easy to fool the masses. And so we can see right now many, many, many things that are going on that are the end of the Age of Pisces. So right now what we've got going on is we're transitioning. I think we've just kind of ended the transition, but we're still kind of at so a transition period, just to review, is the death of one and the birth of another, and they're overlapping, okay? And they may overlap for 40 years or 400 years or anything in between, all right? So we've probably just overlapped that. Some people think that December 21st of last week was the birth of the Age of Aquarius. So anytime we have a death, it's very violent. Anytime we have a birth, it's very violent. So we're still going through the birth pains. We're still kind of going through the grieving period of the death of the last age, because it's still very fresh in our mind. It's only 1 week away. You know, that only happened a week ago. So it's very, very fresh. Everybody who's alive today is still going to be struggling with how do we leave this old age behind and enter this new age? Everybody who's alive today will be going through this, and they're going to have to make choices. And so what we're seeing today on social media, in politics, with worldwide pandemic, with all the different things that we have going on, the global reset, some people want one thing, some people want another thing. All of this turmoil that we're going through right now, with a huge amount of fake news and a huge amount of false allegations, and just all this turmoil that we're going through, is the change of the ages. So it's really just from the old age now of Pisces that we're entering into the new age now of Aquarius. So what happens in that? Well, we're going to have extra turmoil. So now we're being exposed to the things that were part of the Age of Aquarius, and we're just now beginning to realize, oh, well, that doesn't really have anything to do with our new life, new life in the age. I'm sorry, we're exposed to the old things of Pisces. It doesn't have anything to do with our new life that's going to be in the Age of Aquarius. So one of the things that I can think of is fake news. So fake news has probably been around forever, but it was definitely a major, major part of the last 2,000 years of the Age of Pisces. So right now, why are so many people becoming awake or waking up or becoming awakened or whatever the term is exactly that you want to say there. It's because we're coming into this new age. In the age of Aquarius, we're not going to be fooled anymore. Now, you can choose to stay in the old age of Pisces, and I can promise you, you will still be fooled by different things. It could be the news, it could be politics, but it could definitely be religion. The old age of Pisces was an age of religion. The new age of Aquarius is not an age of religion. We are leaving the age of religion, and that's really what I want to emphasize today, is that we are leaving the age of religion. Now, you can choose to stay in the age of religion if you want to. It's not going to hurt a lot. You're not going to be able to go forward in life. You are probably going to struggle because everybody else is not going to be in the old age of religion anymore. You're going to wonder why so many people are leaving. Why are people leaving the churches in droves? You know, with this COVID thing, many of the churches have been shut down. Not all of them, but many of the churches have been shut down. And I don't know, 10 years ago, I would have thought that was a horrible thing that they were doing. And I still don't like the way that the government is forcing it to happen. But this is actually a natural course of leaving the age of Pisces, which is an age of religion, and going into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of no religion. And so it's just a natural part of it. This whole COVID thing, is hard as it is a natural transition from the religious age of Pisces to the non-religious age of Aquarius. And that's why churches are going to continue to go down, 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 down in attendance. And even if when we open them back up, or if we open them back up, their attendance will be very, very low, and they're dying out now. And that's, in a way, a good thing, because we're not in the age of religion anymore. What else is going to happen now? As we enter the age of Aquarius, now this is going to be the age of enlightenment. Now, a lot of you are going to say, oh, this is just New Age stuff. Now, we were told in church that the New Age was a horrible thing. It was very evil, very wicked, very sinful, to stay far, far away from it. And I remember all of that very, very clearly. Why? Why were they saying that? Because, first of all, they didn't understand. But second of all, they're saying that because the age of Aquarius is actually taking away all the religion of the age of Pisces. It's taking away Christianity. It's taking away everything that we know. So that is a natural response when somebody tries to take away your whole life, to say, no, 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 that's bad. That's evil. We shouldn't want anything to do with that. And so if that's what you've been taught, I want to give you permission today to know that it's okay to understand that we are in a new age, and it's okay to study it, and it's okay to enter it. It really is. You don't have to stay stuck in the old age of religion. Okay, so this age of Aquarius is the age of enlightenment. Whether you like it or not, people are going to be enlightened, and this is what we see happening. It's not fun the way that it's happening right now, but we'll get over the grieving period. We'll get over the trauma of the birth, and we'll get to the point where the age of enlightenment is fun, okay? It's an age of personal freedom. All right, now we're thinking, oh my goodness, this is the least amount of freedom we have ever experienced in our whole lives. Yes, this is, because we're in that turmoil part of the transition from one to another. So what's happening right now is these two ages are fighting. And so one is age of Aquarius is trying to take over from the religion of the age of Pisces, and they're fighting, fighting, fighting. And so we're taking away things that are going to be coming soon in the age of Aquarius. So this is encouragement. I hope that in the age of Aquarius, when we get a little bit more stable here, we're actually going to have more personal freedom. So this amount of lack of freedom that we have right now, that's being forced on us right now, is only temporary. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's see what else here. And I'm just looking at my notes here. This is a time, Age of Aquarius is a time where we overcome division. So the age of Pisces was a time of great division. Pisces is two fish, and those two fish, some people call the eagle and the soul, and ego and the soul, and they're tied together at the tails. And so these two tails are inseparable, and so these two fish are always trying to go in two different directions, and they can't because they're tied together. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to bring everything that would cause division back together into unity. So all of the things that cause division, politics cause division, skin color cause division, different kinds of I'm this gender, I'm that gender, not just man and woman. We're talking about, homosexuality, transvestites, all this kind of stuff that caused a lot of division. That's actually going to come together, and we're going to come into unity in those. I don't know what that's going to look like at this point. Even the gender of just male and female. So we had a matriarchal age way back. We went through the patriarchal age with Moses, and that continued. The patriarchal age very much continued into the age of Pisces with the age of religion. It wasn't as severe as under Moses, but now we're coming into an egalitarian age where men and women are considered to be equal, and we will be working together. Not that we're the same, we're not the same, but we are equal. And so that's all of those things of division were a part of the age of Pisces with the two fish. And we're all coming together into the age of Aquarius. And so that will be unity. So we have been using weapons, robots, and the internet to promote division. Now we're going to be coming into something else to promote unity. Can we use weapons to promote unity? Probably not. Can we use robots to promote unity? Yes, we can. Can we use the internet to promote unity? Yes, we can. Can we use other things to promote unity? Absolutely. And so I don't know what all is going to be used to promote unity, but that is what is going to happen in the age of Aquarius. So right now, all of this division that we have going on, a huge amount of division that's going on all around the world, whether it is political, religious, or even, just other things. I'm trying to think of some examples that are not political or religious. I'm coming up short right now. This is like a cosmic battle that's going on. So we have a great battle between the two ages, and we're going to win. We have to. The age of Aquarius is going to win out over the religious age of Pisces. All right, so our goals in the age of Aquarius. Remember, we have goals when we have a new year. We'll have goals when we have a new age too. So our goals for the age of Aquarius, and maybe this will help you as you set goals for your personal goals for yourself, that you line up your goals with the new age of Aquarius. If you're doing that, and your vibration is lining up with the vibration of where we're at, then you're more likely to reach your goals. Okay, so our goals are humanitarianism. I know some of you are like, that's not what the Bible teaches. That's not what my church teaches. It's okay. We're leaving all of that behind, and we're going into a new age, and we're all going to be focusing on humanitarianism. This new age is actually a global age. The sign of Aquarius, the constellation of Aquarius, is the most global constellation of all. And this is where the world is going to come together, whether we like it or not. Yeah, I love my country. I love being in the U.S. I've always been a nationalist. But now we're entering an age where it's a globalist age, and the whole earth is going to come together. Knowledge and reason are going to be primary over religion. We're not going to be religious anymore. We're going to focus more on knowledge and reason. And if you look back in the last 40 or 50 years, that's the direction we've been going, right? We've had a huge amount of knowledge and reason that we've come into in the last 40 or 50 years, and that's why so many people are leaving the church. And so the knowledge and reason is giving us, oh, that's why the religion that I always grew up with is actually not true. Okay. Innovation. We're going to have a lot of innovation. And we can see that some people say that this actually started around 1900, when we've had so much innovation in the 1900s. So that will be continuing, and we're just seeing at the very, very beginning of it now. I have no idea what it's going to look like in the next 2,000 years, which is approximately the next age of Aquarius. We're going to work toward a greater goal. So our goals are going to be to make the world a better place. How can we make the world a better place, not only individually, but communally? How can we come together and make the world a better place? How can we come together in our neighborhood, in our family, in our workplace, in our cities and our communities? How can we come together that way to make the world a better place? How can we come together as a nation to make the world a better place? And literally, how can we come together as all the nations of the world to make the world a better place? And we can see that there's been more and more of these organizations that have conferences where they get together from around the world and make decisions as a group of nations. And maybe you haven't liked that. I haven't. I know I haven't. But this is the way it's going to be. And so we might as well embrace it. We might as well go with that energy because that's the way that it is going to be going. And so let's get together and actually make this world a better place. Working together everywhere that we can. This Age of Aquarius is going to be a time where we discover new types of energy. I don't know what that means, but it will be exciting. Because it is the most global sign, it is an age of democracy. There's not going to be any more top-down hierarchy cultures. We can see a little bit of that happening with some of the corporations now, where they're flattening their models, and the employees have much more say, and there's not as many people on the top. So we've still got some of that left over from the last Age of Pisces, of course, but we're going to be getting more and more and more flat models and more democracy type of models where people will work together rather than just being told what to do. People are at the age now where they don't want to be told what to do, right? And we're going to have, this Age of Aquarius is not going to have any extreme political divisions. Right now, we can't even imagine that, right? We are at the most extreme political division that we've ever seen in our lives, for sure. And possibly the whole history of the world, but I'm not sure that that's really, I don't know. But anyway, what is that? That's the cosmic battle that's going on, the transition from the two ages. Pisces is hanging on for dear life. Religion is hanging on for dear life. With that religion comes a lot of judgment, comes a lot of division, comes a lot of hypocrisy. And they're hanging on for dear life because they're not willing to let it go. Many of the people that I have listening to this today are in this camp. You're in the Age of Pisces. You're hanging on for dear life. You're hanging on to things that no longer apply to us, that are no longer good for us. This age of religion is no longer good for us. We're entering into an age of new religion. No religion. A new age of no religion is what we're entering into. And so right now, a huge part of that is the politics, the political struggle that we have going on. I don't know when it will end. I don't know how long this battle between the two ages is going to be. It won't be very long, I don't think. But while we're going through this, at least for me, it helps me to understand, okay, so this is why COVID is happening. This is why all of these things with the election is happening. This is why there's so many problems in the U.S., at least between the Democrats and the Republicans. This is why there's fighting between all of the nations on what we're going to do for this, that, and the other thing. This is why there is so much division everywhere. This is why there's so much division in religion, and not even just between the 5 main religions, but even within Christianity itself. And there's 46,000 or 14,000 or whoever knows, thousands of different ideas on this religion. This is why, because it is actually a battle to hold on to religion really, really tightly, to hold on to the Age of Pisces really, really tightly. They don't want to let go, and that's why we're having more and more and more division. And eventually that's all going to just blow up, and we're not going to have any more at all. We're not going to have that religion anymore. There's going to be a few people who are going to bring it forth, and they're going to be the outliers. The world is going to go on without them. They really are. And so we're going to go on to make the world a better place. We're going to go on to make the world more humanitarian, a kinder place, a place where people are more included, a place where people are treated like people, a place where there is less fighting, a place where there is less division, a place where it is a more peaceful era. We're going to leave that era of war and division and stuff behind. And I know right now it doesn't seem like that at all because we're in the midst of the biggest battle ever. But it's okay. I know what comes on the other side of that battle. It's not prophecy, it's not prediction, it's just the stars go over and over and over and over and over, and we enter a new age every 2,000 to 2,500 years, and that's what's happening right now. So if this makes sense to you, I hope that this is helpful to you, that helps you to understand why things are happening right now. And if you line up your life this year in 2021 with the new things that are happening in the Age of Aquarius, I think that you'll find yourself much more at peace, and you won't be struggling so much with all of the crazy stuff that's going on in life. So out with the old, out with religion, in with the new, in with treating people much, much better. Maybe a little bit more like what Jesus actually said in the story. But anyway, out with Pisces, in with Aquarius. I hope you guys have a great new year. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.